Hi Haunted Family, and welcome back. For those of you who don't know, I am from Kentucky. I'm from Eastern Kentucky. I'm from the deep dark hills of Eastern Kentucky. And for the past several years, we have had a viral story that has dominated all of the Kentucky, history pages, folklore pages, paranormal pages, exploring pages. This comes up several times a week, sometimes dozens of times a week. And it's really been prevalent since the Halloween season has started. I first became aware of this story about 5 years ago. A friend shared it to my Facebook page and said, hey, we should check this out. And I was like, I read it and I was like, oh, this seems like right up my alley. And then I started doing a little digging, a little research on this particular story and this town that the story is about. It took me all of about 3 minutes to find that it was just made up. It's fake. It's a good story. It's intriguing. It hits all the points that you want a good scary story to hit, but it's not real. Yeah, I'm talking about Elsewhere, Kentucky. The story was originally posted in the Reddit forum No Sleep, and then the author, Seamus Coffey, eventually posted to Thought Catalog, where it kind of exploded and just swept Kentucky. It's a very good story, but it's not true. To the point that the author has had to go on to Wikipedia several times and remove it from the Callaway County page because people keep adding it to the Callaway County page. So let me read you a little bit from the story. The story is written in first person, and he uses actual places that existed or does exist, and he does a really good job of weaving some backstory in, so he makes you believe that it's real. He does a really good job. It's a wonderfully written story. Just, not true. Okay, I'm picking up at the story where he has visited the town after he has talked to several old timers in town, well, in his hometown, and heard about the story. He has found some papers. I'm starting there. The yellowed pages were single page editions of an old periodical called the Elsewhere Gazette. The stories covered church events, pie recipes, an advert for the Elsewhere General Store. One of the pages in the stack bore the headline, Tragedy at the Schoolhouse. The article told the story of a hysterical schoolteacher who had poisoned the cake she had prepared for her students. The one surviving student ran out of the schoolhouse screaming when the woman tried to force him to eat the cake. It was dated August 12th, 1936. So according to his story, the kids were poisoned in 1936, and then he found a newspaper article in the Louisville Courier-Journal that said that the town that had been abandoned for health and safety concerns was slated to be demolished, and the paper was dated April 2nd, 1953. The town was listed as being located north of New Concord, just off Highway 280, about 2 miles. Now, the Louisville Courier-Journal, of course, is a real newspaper, and as a real newspaper, You can go online and search their archives, or you can go to the library and you can pull up microfiche of their newspaper. The article doesn't exist, of course, because Seamus Coffey made the whole story up. He just weaved real places and things in to make the story more believable. But according to some people on Facebook, the newspaper article absolutely does exist, and according to them, they have read it. They can't produce a screenshot of it or a copy of the microfiche, of course, because it doesn't exist, but according to them, it does. So one thing I love about the Callaway County Historical Society is that they've kept really good records. You can go through and you can search for old schools that have existed in Callaway County, and you can pull up, in some cases, pictures of the students from various classes and teachers and histories of the school. You can go on various Callaway County Historical Society pages and find all kinds of information about the town throughout history. One thing you will not find elsewhere, Kentucky, because it's not real. One of the first things that I did when trying to prove to people that, particularly my friends, that this town doesn't exist and has never existed, is I went on to the Department of Transportation's website, and I don't know if all states do this, but I know in Kentucky you can. You can pull up historic maps of your county through the Department of Transportation. So I went back as far as they would let me in Callaway County and just searched their map. Elsewhere didn't exist. I mean, of course it didn't. Now, towns do get abandoned. Kentucky has a dozen or so ghost towns, one of which is named Fudge. Kentucky is great for weird town names. I love it. And they were abandoned for, various reasons. Sometimes no reason at all. Sometimes industry just dries up and people move on to better areas. To my knowledge, none of them were abandoned due to murders or teachers mass murdering all their students. And that's one thing that when I first read the story really stood out to me. This was supposedly happened in the 1930s. This isn't the Dark Ages. That would have made, if not national news, then Lexington and Louisville newspapers would have picked it up. It would have been more widespread in Kentucky than just a little blip in a local newspaper. A teacher goes crazy and kills all of her students is going to make major news. And I think that's one of those things that the people who say that the story is real isn't really thinking through on. That, that's a big deal, and that would have made some serious headlines if a teacher had went crazy and poisoned all of her students. Am I wrong in thinking that? I don't think so. So you tell me, what viral stories is sweeping your state? Or does your state have a viral story? Kentucky actually has a few. We have one of the killer ghost, which is also fake. I might get into that later if y'all want. But I love this phenomenon of viral stories that are easy to prove as, you know, just a story that people just sort of cling to, and no matter how much proof you provide them, you can't shake their belief in it. I've seen people post on Facebook that, well, the cops guard the entrance to this town. They never think that maybe it's just a nice wide spot that cops like to set up and wait for speeders at. Because you can't find it on a map, and no one that I have seen has actually provided proof that they've been there. And it would seem like a big waste of resources for cops to post up and not let anybody in this town that was bulldozed. I mean, if it's bulldozed, no harm, no foul now. That's my thoughts. So, what's your thoughts? And do you have any viral stories in your town or your state that no matter how much proof is thrown at it, just you can't seem to shake and prove to people that it's not real? As many true crazy ghost stories in Kentucky. I mean, we are home of Waverly Hills and Bobby Mackey's, which there's a lot of not truth about Bobby Mackey's too, but we'll get into that some other time. It's crazy that, you know, a story like this, that even the author has came out and said, hey, it's not true, still holds true. It still holds on. So, let me know in the comments what your thoughts are, and let me know about viral paranormal stories in your town. Thanks for watching. Bye.